Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
All right. Well, welcome to the CWC Podcast, the home for the latest news, rumors, and interviews around the sport of chuckwagon racing. I'm your host, David Selby, and I'm joined by my co-host today, Andy Horton. And, of course, we've got Savannah in Producer's Alley. She is just playing in the background, making sure we don't mess anything up. On today's show, we get to reminisce a little bit about the Whiskey Ridge Chuckwagon Races from this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And we have Brian Reel coming onto the show from the 11 Point Showdown held in Pocahontas, Arkansas. They are working really hard to put something special together for Northeast Arkansas for their first year of having a chuckwagon race. And I'm excited to talk about it. So it's all coming up here on the CWC Podcast. How's it going today, Andy?
It's good. And I'm starting to recover from this 5-week-long stretch of events in a row. I actually managed to sleep a little bit finally, so that's good.
Yeah, you guys headed home right when the rain was hitting on Sunday afternoon. How was the drive back? Did you get rain the whole way home?
No, we got out of it about Conway, and we started watching the radar on the way home, and we realized that we were about to drive into some pretty bad stuff when we got into Oklahoma, so we had to do a little navigating. And so we actually we avoided it. We managed to watch the radar and where it was going to go, and we got around it. It added, maybe 20-30 minutes to the drive, and we got in, I don't know, probably about, I think, about 1 o'clock, maybe a little later in the morning, so something like that. And we actually got around it, and we didn't really even have anything hit home after we got here. I think it hit here before we got here, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So not terrible.
Well, I was going to go home potentially that night, but I had kind of planned to be staying there that night, knowing, just doing the math. I was like, by the time they finish the races with that many teams, and then by the time they get to the awards ceremony, and then knowing that they had a lot of teams and they had a lot of stuff stacked up for the awards ceremony, and with Memorial Day being Monday, there's just not going to be a big rush for people to get out of there. I planned and I stayed Sunday night, and I'm honestly glad I did, because I would have got home. It probably would have been 2 o'clock in the morning for me or whatever at that point, and I just would have been totally just beat up. I was very tired after shooting I guess it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And actually I was in Clinton on Wednesday shooting all day. So yeah, it was kind of a marathon, but really fun weekend, really good event. Yeah. You got down to Whiskey Ridge. Was it Monday night or Tuesday?
It was Tuesday at noon. So it's like basically when they opened the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the week for you? How'd you feel about it all?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, that, there was some things that I kind of wish we could have done that the weather, basically psyched us out and prevented us from doing. There was a few things that would have been cool to have tried, but I mean, overall, I think we did really good. And got to mess around and get some, interesting like B-roll shots and stuff that I'm not used to being able to get. So that was cool. That was fun. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the most notable off the top of my head was that you were in the perfect spot to get Jordan Lee on his horse.
Yeah,
just taking out several things, taking out the hay bale, taking out the cross with the, I guess, like the horns, or was it a cow head on there or something?
Yeah, as a skull with like long horns on it.
Yeah,
on top of a cross. Yeah,
and then him getting up from that and everything, that was just kind of like the perfect storm, because I had caught him right before all the rain hit. That morning I caught him and got a little interview with him, which I did all that really quickly to just get some video out to people before the races, just to be like, hey, here's what it looks like out here this morning, which was right before it got really rainy. But it was like, this is going on. This is going to happen. Come out here and enjoy these races. There was a lot of excitement, and and then sure enough, it poured and had a slick track.
For everyone wondering, I was not privy to that interview. I had no idea that interview had happened. I've been asked about that.
Yeah. No, that was
I was not aware that he said any of that. I wasn't told to watch him. There was no reason for me to put the camera on him. I don't know why I put the camera on him when he came around the corner. I was just like, oh, an outrider. And I wasn't even paying attention to who it was. I was just like, oh, that looks like that would be a cool shot of an outrider.
Right.
And I just happened to pick him instead of the wagons. And he basically filled the frame because I'm on a prime. So I was on a 300 millimeter. I couldn't zoom out.
Yeah.
So it just was what it was.
It was all just meant to be.
It just happened. And, and thankfully everyone's okay. Yeah, I was, and that's really why I stayed. I was like split after it happened on whether I wanted to pan over to a wagon. You can kind of tell I was by the way that he's like in one side of the frame where I'm watching him get up, and then the wagons are kind of in the other side of the frame of the shot, and you can see the horse run away in the background. So I'm like, oh, the horse ran away in the background. So at least that he was able to get up and run away.
Yeah, he had a couple of spills this weekend, but we got that one. That was the good one to get for sure. And
yeah,
horse and rider are okay. They are a little sore, a little banged up, but really on the weekend, everything. I mean, for having weather and everything, and for having that many teams, not bad. I mean, what I feel like I saw more than anything was outriders going down on turns, going down on curves, or the typical can't get on the horse and something happens at the start. But really pretty smooth race. And for the little bit of stuff that did happen, I feel like the staff and the crew, everybody that was there was on top of it. They moved things quickly. It was very professionally run. It was a really, really good production. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some times where you're waiting for people at the line. And I mean, I think the racers were on point for the most part. They were really trying to get in and out of there and keep the thing going. So kudos to everybody that was involved. It was a pretty smooth production. And then I just generally had a good time. I thought, hey, there's a lot of people here. It's always so cool to see everybody come out. And, that's, the whole chuckwagon racing community, like it was just like almost everybody was there. I mean, we were missing some people, obviously because rock bottom was going on. And so there were a handful of teams up there and stuff. But I mean, there were a lot of people at this event, and it's really cool to see the amount of people at that event and know that there's another race going on too. So that means, when you start doing the math on that, we're probably pushing around 200 teams that could potentially be. Yeah. And if, I mean, let's say 100 were in one place and 100 in another, that's two big productions. I mean, it's exciting to know that there are that many teams out there racing. It's just awesome, man. It's cool to see the new teams popping up and to see the young people that are getting involved, and the sport is growing.
Yeah, it's good to know that you've got enough participants to support two events that big. That's cool.
Heck yeah, man. Gets me excited. Well, make sure you get over and subscribe and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com. It is $11 a month or $99 a year. Don't forget, we've got lots of good content on there. We will have the full race days from Whiskey Ridge on there shortly. Savannah is already cutting on those. We kind of made that a top priority with how many racers were at this race. We want to get that out to you first. So we should have that up here in the next couple of days, assuming everything goes according to plan on this end. But she's already well on her way on that deal. So we're excited to get that out there. We'll have a recap that we do. We've done that for the last couple races. You've seen that come out. We're really building those, geared towards pushing those over to Cowboy Channel so that we can get stuff onto Western Sports Roundup. And we'll make sure we're announcing that stuff as we get it out there. But as we see when it may surface on Cowboy Channel, so we're knocking on the door there. We've got a lot of stuff that we're trying to talk to them about between that and the series we're doing, and just everything going on. They had a really big acquisition where Teton Ridge bought Cowboy Channel and Rural Media Group this last year. So there's been a lot of stuff changing around there, including people on staff and stuff. There's been people not only maybe moving, maybe in or out of the company, but there's also people moving and changing roles within the company. And so we've seen I've seen that stuff happening talking to them. And so it's just a little bit slow right now, and that's okay. I think everything happens for a reason. It's all going to happen when it's supposed to. So, but yeah, go check out everything that we're putting on the Chuckwagon channel right now. And Savannah's been just optimizing and doing things at a higher level than we've ever done. We're getting stuff out more quickly, so I'm excited for that. A couple other quick notable people we wanted to call out from the race weekend. Jordan had those couple of wrecks, and everybody's good. Everybody's well there. Maddie Johnson won the Ridge Runner race both days. That was exciting to watch. That's just a cool race that they do that. Obviously, the fact that you can cover it with the drone and we'll be able to actually see the whole thing later, but it's a cool race. And I mean, I think that, are they firing a shotgun up there or are they firing a cannon? I actually wasn't sure.
So it's a shotgun, but from what I understand, there's some very special ammunition being used in this shotgun.
Some of that Todd Wheeler special sauce that they're putting in there.
It is, yeah. That's what I was told. Yeah.
Oh man, those guys, they like to be a little extra. I love it. They really pump a lot into everything they do. They have a high standard of what they do there. I love it. Another call out, County Line Bunch. They're I was hoping to get a note back from somebody, but County Line Bunch, they've been making a splash this year on what they're doing, not just with the Classic, but they've got a rookie driver in the buckboard, and I actually can't tell you his name off the top of my head. I was trying to fish for that a minute ago. No big deal, but I did notice, like watching the buckboards, they always get my attention because there's usually not a lot of buckboard teams. There were at Whiskey Ridge, but there's usually not a lot of buckboard teams running at many of these events. And I saw him run at the previous event, and I was like, dang, he's moving. He's really moving. And he didn't win this weekend. You want to talk, storylines for the buckboard. Brad House edges first place by like 0.03 of a second or something on Full Throttle Loca. So, we back up to Clinton last year where you see him win by a nose in the runoff.
Yeah.
And by the timer at Whiskey Ridge, Brad beats Jana by just a little bit. And so that's one of those storylines that, as a sports fan, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see these guys keep going at it this year. And talking to Brad prior to the races at Whiskey Ridge, he was kind of talking about how he still isn't sure where his ponies are at. He's not out there running them like he's running them in a race all the time. And so he wasn't really sure where he would land because this was his first race this year. He had that accident that he was in, and he's doing good. And ponies showed up, and I think we're still gonna see some really good action out of the buckboard division this year. We're gonna be focused on the big mules when we go into season 3 of the Great Wagon Race, which I'm like really excited about. But the fact that we have these continuing storylines from the first 2 seasons that we'll be able to go and talk to those people, keep following that narrative. I just think that the show is going to get better and better as we go, because there's this familiarity, where we're going to be able to keep following what's happened, what we've educated people on already, and keep following those storylines, but also introduce new ones. And I get really excited about it, knowing what's to come. And being that it's a long season, a long year, we get to kind of keep little notes on what's going on these things, and then it all kind of shakes out. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what we had to talk about with Whiskey Ridge. We do have Brian Reel in the waiting room, and we don't want to make him wait any longer. We're excited to talk to him. So Savannah, feel free to pull the trigger and get him in here. Boom. There he is. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, we're on, man. We were scrambling. You ever see a pile of rednecks trying to get technical stuff put together? It was a shit.
Yep, we have a Chuckwagon podcast, so we get to see us pretty much every week.
Luckily, we had Jeffrey on the other line, and he was lining us up trying to get everything downloaded.
Oh man, well, you guys are on a video. It's working. You're in a vertical position, which is, like, that's fine. We don't care anymore. We used to care. We would advise otherwise, but it doesn't matter because you guys are alive. You're in the flesh. You're right here on screen. We get to hear from you. You sound good. It looks like the feed's working good, and you even have some art on the wall. So thank you for
that was Curtis's idea. And there went our low battery just came on this phone.
Oh no, you got to plug in the phone.
We'll get plugged in here.
Oh, that's awesome.
He liked the phone situation better than the laptop. So he said the camera would be better off of the phone.
Well, hey, it's working great, and as long as the battery doesn't die, we're going to be good. If it does die, we'll just bring you back in when you get back. It's no big deal.
Pick up on that phone, we can get it in the butt coat. Oh, that's par for the course. And here comes. We got our sound crew coming in. They're getting us plugged up now.
Are those some buckles hanging up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the buckles from?
I used to ride bulls years ago, and
We have one.
then was pretty successful at it and won a bunch of stuff. And then I've got some up there that we won with our bucking bulls. We do for charity stuff with our bulls.
Right on. So introduce yourselves here for just a second. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Go ahead, Curtis.
I'm Curtis Seamans. I'm from Pocahontas, and me and Brian had a harebrained idea to have a chuck wagon race and a bull riding and all the stuff we could think to pack in it.
Well, Curtis, I met you at the. Did I meet you at the awards meeting today or earlier this year? That was where we met, right?
Yes, sir.
That was our first time meeting. And Brian, you weren't there then, were you?
I couldn't make it, so David Newman and Curtis
That's right.
came down and represented for me.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I go to these chuckwagon events and I drink beer with all my friends, and stuff just literally falls out of my brain. I don't know what's going on. But I'm totally remembering now. And David Newman, like, just to kind of drop his name in there, he's kind of the other guy that's involved in you guys. Is it more of a trio, would you say, that's kind of been the making of this whole thing?
Yes. Yeah, David is the vice president of the port board, National Port Board. So he's kind of been out of pocket. He wasn't able to help us as much as he'd liked to. They launched a new logo this year, so he's been traveling the world, literally trying to promote their new slogan and promote port business. So he just recently has jumped back in and is getting organized. He's basically organizing the food vending and the vending areas. So he's been instrumental in that.
Yeah, all pulled pork. All
Yeah.
So he and his brother are exclusively doing all the barbecuing there. We're gonna have a taco truck as well as him, but they'll have a fairly large menu.
It makes me think of
Keep everybody fed.
It makes me think of, like, on Forrest Gump, you got like Bubba who's talking about like shrimp soup,
yeah.
shrimp salad, shrimp. It's going to be all pork when we go to the 11-point show. Or yeah, it's going to be all pork.
You can get a taco.
I would not. It wouldn't bother me a bit.
With a Busch Light or an Ultra, we'll have a beer truck.
There you go.
Man, every time I say 11-point showdown, I have to think about it because I want to say shootout for some reason. I don't know why I keep wanting to do that, but
that's on the tip of everybody's tongue. It is.
So what made you guys want to call it the 11-point showdown?
Curtis's wife, Allie, actually came up with it. We were talking about it, and what are we going to call this event? She spit it right out. There you go. That's it. Yeah.
She's been waiting to say that for years.
I think so.
Yeah, we was trying to figure out something to incorporate to the location and all that, and she spit that out, and I was like, that is got to be it.
Yeah. We ran with it.
So give me a little bit of background. So you guys are like newest of new on what you're doing here. So who has like any background on chuckwagon racing? Where did this all start for you guys? And what was that spark that got you guys to say, like, hey, let's do this?
Well, 20 years ago, I went to Clinton to the Bar OF, and I probably went 5 or 6 years in a row and helped some friends hold a 4-up team there. where I was raised, there weren't any teams of horses. A lot of horses, but no, they didn't race teams. Nobody drove wagons. I had never even seen a herd of wagons like that. So I fell in love with it right away. And we have an excellent spot. I always knew that we had this ranch to do it on. It just took that long in order to put it together to make it fall into place anyway. And now it has. The opportunity arose again with the association, and they have slots, so we jumped right on it, and they came and looked at the farm, and that was the end of it. It's on. So Curtis, he rode bulls in the PBR, so we incorporated the bull riding into the Chuckwagon for an additional event there, and then we've been poking some other ones in additionally on top of it. So as we go, we're adding more of them in, things that we hadn't thought about. We're getting good feedback from a lot of people that go to a lot of these events and giving us good ideas.
Okay.
We're trying to load it up, but not trying to overload where we're going to be overwhelmed on our first outing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know how quickly it can get overwhelming. It's a huge event. There's a lot to plan. There's a lot to add. There's a lot of things that you don't think of. I mean, inevitably you're going to go through the first one and you're going to, you got to cut your teeth somewhere. You got to do it, and you got to start learning. But I am kind of curious. So on the rodeo side, it sounds like this is something you guys are really passionate about with the rodeo part of this. How do you go about getting the rodeo aspect of this set up, and how do you get good stock? How do you get good riders? What's the process like there?
You hire a good contractor. And I know a bunch of them, and I'm real close friends with the people that we chose, and we was sitting in a truck originally, and Brian said, I want to have a big event here, and we just kind of was daydreaming about it or whatever, and I said, well, if you want to, we can make it happen. I said, I'll know the right person, and if they don't know the right people, they'll know somebody that does, That's how it all got going, and we got Clint Jackson on board to do the bull riding, and they'll bring a portable arena in, and we'll set up light plants. And like I said, I just know these people forever, and I felt like he was the best guy to go with. And Brian, he just jumped right on board with it.
That's awesome.
We're hanging 10 on our surfboard. We're hoping for a good set.
Yeah, man, no kidding. Well, it seems like the story of the year with all these events so far has been that you're going to get it's just like there's going to be rain. And so every event we've been to, we've had rain. And it's just, it's a blessing to have rain. We need that in the ag world, and in the rural world, we want to see rain coming down. But man, for these events, sometimes it's tough. So talk a little bit about, for people that are coming out to your event, coming out to your farm, what can they expect when they get out there? What are they going to see?
Big, wide open space, and 3.5 miles of river frontage on the 11 points. So they're welcome to bring their canoes, kayaks, float. You can do a 4 or 5 hour float from Dalton, which is just north of us. There's a boat ramp access there where they can launch and float back down to the ranch.
Oh,
get out right on the beach there. So we didn't think about it till recently about incorporating a float company to come in and provide a service for all the people that want to camp. Next year, we certainly will.
Yeah.
Incorporate them in where they can take bus loads of people up, haul their kayaks, canoes, and let them float back down during the week before the events start, and let them enjoy that. We do it every weekend because we live here on it.
Sure.
So,
oh, that's so cool.
it will be part of what the people can do, lay on the bank in the gravel bar or float, or whatever their choosing may be.
Yeah,
that's pretty unique.
It really is. We haven't found a venue yet that offers that. So
right.
No, and I will say, there's probably a lot of people that hear. Yeah, there may be a lot of people that hear, oh, a float trip opportunity, whatever. I don't do that. That's not me. I don't know anything about that. I'm telling you, go and try floating on a river one time. It's a blast. It's so much fun. If you like to go and do anything outdoors, it's the most relaxing and just fun thing. And that's the kind of thing that I would do when I was growing up with my friends. We'd go jump on the James River down in Southwest Missouri and and we would just enjoy it. You can spend hours, and you can try to move downriver quickly if you want. You can be done in a couple hours, or you can float all day, make some stops on the gravel bars. I mean, it's such a cool thing. What's that river like there, Brian?
Well, right now it's pretty dingy. We've been getting so much rain, but our hopes is that it'll go down a little more and clean up. And it generally does. By the first or the middle of June, the rains will slow down. It better, because we've got a lot of hay to cut in order to clean up for this event. Yeah. We've not been able to cut any hay down there to clean up. So
it's very pretty, and it's clean, clear water normally. You're not having flooding, and it's actually a scenic river waterway, or one of the very few in the United States, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not very commercialized at all.
Arkansas for sure.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I would even be interested in, like getting down there a day early sometime and just enjoy that. Yeah. There really is something special and different about floating down a river, whether you're doing it on a canoe or a kayak or a raft. I kind of like being on a raft personally, because need a big cooler if I'm going to go down the river.
Oh yeah, you want snacks in a big cooler.
Yep. And if you're really going all out, take something you can pop up and cook a little something. We'd take take brats or wings or whatever and cook on the side of the river. It's a fun thing, man.
Well, we could quite possibly next year we could do a day and call it the 11 Point Showdown float trip, and everybody go, and we could we know most all the landowners up and down the river. We could find a halfway point and have something cooking when everybody gets there.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be a lot of fun. Yes. That at Eminence, that for on those trail rides there, so we could incorporate something like that into the river.
Heck, Brian, you got 2 weeks. Come on, man, you can get this together.
Well, it's very possible, and we just haven't had a lot of time to get it out online, and let people know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great idea. I know that anytime we go to one of these events and there's ponds or river or whatever, the kids like to get out there and play in it and have a good time. So
yeah,
I think it's a neat thing. That gets me excited. That's super unique. That might be just one of a kind.
90 degrees. You got an opportunity to go cool off, and most of the riverbank has got trees on it where it's shaded as well. So we'll throw horseshoes or bags down there. We can set up and throw bags or shoes down in there in the sandbars. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have, it sounds like you've got a lot of good ideas, and talking to you prior to this, as we've kind of been in touch, it's been neat to hear about your ideas and stuff. I can tell, that you have great ideas, but you also have some good team members too. And so, so talk about your cousin, Jeff, just a little bit, and kind of what he brings to the table and what you guys are doing for entertainment.
Well, he's recently just started teaching us that we're not real smart. We have really good ideas. He's the technical, and I'll tell you, he's the technical side of it. He spent 10 years of his life on the East Coast putting together these types of events.
Oh.
He worked for an outfit that did it. So he's telling us things that we have no idea, especially through social media and how these platforms work. We're slowly getting an education in it.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't understand. So it's been difficult for us not having any background in that stuff. We think you just post that stuff, but it doesn't really work that way. But anyway, he's been very instrumental in getting us organized business-wise, as well as the social media part of it.
Yeah, talking to him, it seems like he's got a great knack for...
Oh, he can't wait to get in front of you. He's got more questions for you, too. Yeah,
that's cool.
Man, I just thought we was going to have a big good time down there, and you're just going to put it on, and everybody's going to show up. Well, then whenever it gets down to the business side of things, there's a lot more to it.
He's like, no, they won't.
Yeah. All we wanted was a big party, but we're getting it handed to us now. So
yeah, well,
it's been good. So next year, as the years go on, it'll get easier, I'm sure. But this one's really putting it on us. We're ready for it. We're excited.
Yeah, I think having that kind of help and having that kind of experience on your team out the gate is one of those things that probably you can probably feel it. You can feel that it's like, oh wow, I'm glad that we had that. That's a blind spot for us, and then when you look back on it, you're going to be even more thankful. And
I tell you what, I didn't realize it, and especially the cost savings having him on our team. I had no idea what what he's doing would have cost us up front to get done thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, talking to him and what little I've gotten to speak to Jeff, it's been I can tell that he's got, true experience and his head's in the right place as far as what he's asking, what he's looking for, and it'll be really cool to see kind of how things come together there. I can just tell you have good help, and I think one of the most important things is, for the person who's kind of at the center of it all, which is really you, Brian. It's kind of feels like it's your baby. I feel like you've got a really big heart for it, and that's one of the things that I'm excited just hearing you talk about the event. I can tell that you're passionate about it, and so I know that you guys are going to put on a good show, and I think that it's in an area too where you're not really fighting, you're not elbow to elbow with anybody that I would really call like somebody that's going to steal your thunder or anything like that. I think you're kind of in an area where you're going to be able to spread the sport out more and get more new people, spectators, and build something right there.
They do. There's nothing else in our area quite like this. It'll be real unique to our area. There is a lot of people in this county and our surrounding area that go to Clinton for a week. They just take the week off and go down to the Chuckwagon races there. So all of those people that we spoke to they're very excited to have one in their backyard where if they need to go home, it's 10 minutes down the road or an hour, instead of 3.
Yeah.
But Curtis, he's been very instrumental in the bull side of it, as well as the Chuckwagon. He knew many of the people that race in the association. So that's how he called some people that he knew in the association, and they got us in touch with the board members that allowed us to make contact. So otherwise I wouldn't have known who to call right out of the base. So he's been very instrumental on both sides of it as well, helping me put it together, and has from the start.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you got to go down to Whiskey Ridge this last weekend. What'd you think? What was going through your head, being a new track owner and being at an event that is kind of getting to that point where it's really starting to explode on its own. What's kind of going through your head going through to a race like that?
Well, having gone to the ones in Clinton for a few years, I knew what to expect. I really wanted to see how Carl and Cindy made theirs flow and talk to them on site. Just seeing how they organized and kept it organized, especially that's chaotic down there with those wagons going back and forth, and seeing how you can help the association people to keep it organized and not get anybody hurt, because it's dangerous down in there. As you were standing right in the midst of, you can get run over, or just flagging traffic and keeping people back where they're not going to get hit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most nervous about for our first year, is making sure that everything flows good, from parking, just from event to event, all that stuff, and the vendors and all that. We'll know more after we get done, but we think we've done our studying, and hopefully it works out good.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I get the privilege of talking to a lot of racetrack owners and kind of pick their brains and stuff. And one thing that kind of stuck with me when I was talking to Josh Spain, who puts on Baker Spain over here in Missouri, he was talking about like they make these changes every year that are like layout changes, and there's certain stuff that you just never know until you get the people there. Like to see like people are going to these places that, of course, because you've been there before, you go to certain places based on your experience of walking through whatever the path is. But then you open the gates to people who don't already have that preconceived notion of like, I'm going to go to this place. And then they start walking into places that you never experienced, like you never saw people walking there before. And so the flow of traffic, if you will, just seeing where people move and where they go and everything, it's one of those things that you probably just don't know until you get there. But that stuck with me a lot when he said that, because they'll bring in, a big concert, and then everybody will come out there and park, and then they all start walking up to the concert area, and they need them to go into like one area to walk around and come in where they want them to go in. But people will start looking for cracks, and people will start looking for like these little areas that you don't expect them to go. And it's just stuff that you have to kind of figure out as you see people come in. So yeah, good luck figuring all that out. I'm sure that'll be fun.
Like herd pets, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
That sort of thing can have a profound effect on your vendors and everything too. Like it can affect what your vendors make. It's big.
So we're going to set our vendors up where every bit of the traffic has to either drive past or walk past them.
Yeah.
And then they'll be closely stationed next to the arena where at the end of the day, they're the bull riding and the concert, all that stuff will be in close proximity to that.
And what are your concerts that are coming in?
We have Jake Lung Band on Friday night and Brian Lumley and the Red Dirt Underground on Saturday night. So
right on. And those guys,
they're relatively local, an hour and a half a year. And actually Brian Lumley and his band they played at Baker Spain.
So, okay.
He's familiar with it.
Yeah. Brian, he's actually had about 4, 5, 6 top 10 songs on Texas radio and stuff like that. And he's toured all over California.
Oh, cool.
He just pursued the music like he used to. He's one of them guys that's just crazy good at everything he does. And once he feels like he masters it, he goes something else.
That's cool. Well, that'll be fun to have some good entertainment down there. The concerts are always just such a cool part of it. People love that. People love music. People love country music. People love Red Dirt. I think that'll fit the mold for sure. So kind of high level, you think a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road from now, what are kind of your hopes for this event and where do you see it going, down the road from now?
Well, within 4 or 5 years, as it grows, we hope that it grows so that we can afford to build pavilions, a covered arena, a permanent stage, and start hiring headliner bands so that those are really crowd gathering. They're crowd pleasers. That's where you're really going to get a large influx by getting bigger bands in there. And so the people will come just to watch the band and they get to enjoy all the other stuff in between. So those are big draws, those big headliner bands.
Yeah.
But they're very expensive. So, and we know it. So we have a 4 or 5 year plan. Jeffrey's put us on a pathway and he's done this. So he knows. I'm trying to think of the one in California that's so big now. He was part of that in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, we're hoping to grow it. So it's not quite to that magnitude.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Something like Baker Spain, where we can get the people based on not bands alone, but be able to add that into.
Yeah. It's kind of like, anything else anymore. It seems like you kind of need to have this influencer or this, I guess influencers, whether they're a celebrity or whatever they may be, but they kind of carry that crowd or that influence wherever they go. Mm-hmm. And to inject that into an event like yours where, it's going to be good, it's going to be well run. You've got the association there bringing all their expertise in the chuckwagon races. And it's like when you have something really, really great, if people just knew about it. And so you bring in some good concerts, which gets more eyeballs on the event. It shows people like, oh, hey, I can camp here. I can stay here. Next year we should do that,
Absolutely. Yeah. The one fee covers everything. You get all the events and the camp.
Yeah.
But
have you guys released your pricing? I should bring that up. Have you released pricing yet?
Yeah. Yes. It's $25 a day. It's cheap. We're the cheapest venue out there. So Jeffrey's been looking at everybody's platforms and he's telling us we're the cheapest ones out there. We don't want to try to make a living off of the one guy the first year that we're doing it. We still would like to make some money and not go under, but or lose money, of course. But we get this thing off the ground and get our feet wet. Try to make it affordable for the local families to come in.
That's great. Well, we're going to do everything we can to help you promote it too. And I know we've been talking in the background, talking about, hey, let's see what we can do to put some content out there. I know we don't really, until we have gone there and you guys have had your first event, there's just a lot of stuff that you're going to get over in year one for sure. But We're excited to help you guys promote this thing. We're excited to be there. We're gonna have a pretty strong crew there, and the association will be there. So it's all the people we know that we've worked with all the time, and man, I just know it's going to be good. Is there anything else that you want to kind of just reach out there and say, or inform the audience about for people that are going to make their way up to your event here in a couple weeks?
Bring your camper, your tent, and your families, your friends, cousins, anybody you know. Tell them about it. Y'all come and see us.
Side by sides, horses, all that stuff. Everything good.
We're gonna have an area where side by sides can go, and the large mount down in the bottoms where primarily the people horseback are camping, we won't allow them in there. But for the most part, they can come in, watch a chuck wagon race, get up to the bull riding area, vending area, and stay out. So we won't let them in the bottom half of the farm where majority of the horses will be.
Right on. Love it. Well, you guys, thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for talking to us about what you're doing. Kudos to you for taking the leap, taking the risk, and trying to grow this sport, trying to grow something that really is at its core, at the center of it all. I think is a great thing for people to go do, for families to go do, and it's exciting for us, especially as big chuckwagon race fans, to see the sport spreading out and to see people that are passionate about building something around something like chuckwagon racing, right? So thank you for doing what you do. And if we can help in any way, let us know. And as you guys put stuff out there on socials, we'll be sharing it. We're going to try to keep everybody informed as well as we make our way toward, what are the exact dates here? It's June 12th is a Thursday. Is that when you're opening the gate?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 12, 13, 14, and 15th of June.
Okay. So gates open on Thursday the 12th?
Yeah, the gates will be opened on Wednesday the 11th for people to come in and start camping if they would like to. Our hopes is that next year we can open on Monday and just do a week-long event. So
cool.
For this time period, thank goodness we're not open on Monday, or we may not be ready due to these rains that we've been getting. So
yeah. Well,
Yeah, kidding.
Well, make sure you guys get out there and do the inaugural float trip at the 11 Point Showdown, because it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we'll do it. Next year, you'll want to come a day or two early and start and float.
Yeah, I've been needing a good excuse to go on a float trip, and my wife. Also, I meant to say, I met Brian and his wife this last weekend at Whiskey Ridge, and he has a Miranda just like me. We both have Mirandas. Yep.
It will be so easy for you not to mess that up.
Yeah, gonna be. I'll remember her name, but
you and I both. Are you bringing your family this trip?
Probably not. My Miranda is going to be about 2 weeks. No, hold on a second. Yeah, about 2 weeks from having our third child, and so just doing anything is uncomfortable at this point. But but she's actually never been on a float trip, and so a year from now, whenever we can hopefully get a babysitter for the first time for our 1-year-old, almost at that point, maybe I can get her to go do a first-time float trip over there. That'd be fun.
We can make that happen. I'll set that up.
Yeah, man. I didn't know you guys were float people. I love it. I'm going to take advantage of that.
We're river rats in the summertime. I mean, we live right here on it. So we run from the Missouri line all the way down south of the Spring River. It's about 22 miles long. 11 Point is.
Well,
and it is pointed as a scenic waterway, so it's not commercialized.
Man, I'm jealous. I think we're going to make it commercialized after we get out there.
I'm on the map, brother. I'm telling you.
Right on, guys. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show. Brian and Curtis, you guys, you're doing a good thing. We're excited to be down there. Let us know if we can do anything for you. And in the meantime, you take care and good luck as you're on the home stretch of getting this event ready to go.
Email me all your people's names so we got them through the gate, and we'll make sure they all get 11 Point Showdown ball caps and T-shirts.
Right on. You guys hear that? If you want to get on the list, just contact me. I'll only charge you $20. $20 a day. I'll get you on the list, okay?
All right.
All right, you guys, thank you. You can just hit the hang up button and leave the app open there on the phone, and it will continue to upload your video feed, and we'll shoot you a message when it's all done, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you later. It's always smooth. it's always a smooth break every single time. Man. I just at this point look forward to the technical difficulties aspect of what we do.
What episode is this?
I'm going to stop sending them a prompt altogether because it obviously it doesn't make a difference. So just throw them into the fire and let them figure it out on the show. I have more stories to tell.
Wow.
So what'd you think? How'd you feel about that?
That's cool. And that gives a good idea of what's going to go on. I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
That would have been a really cool event to have gone to.
You could always not go to the one you're going to and just go to the one.
Man, I can't go telling somebody that, man, I'll be there for you. If you want to go get something, I'll do it. I'll be there for you. And then go, oh,
yeah,
sorry, can't do that.
Well,
so.
I feel like I get some pretty cool work perks with what I do, getting to go to new places and, see a new venue, help them in some way and, see people enjoy it. Like, it's just cool to be a part of what we do. And, I mean, this is just a glimpse at what Brian and Curtis and David Newman and Jeff, I always want to say Luke, but it's Jeff Duke, what Jeff's doing, his cousin, and I can just tell that they're going to have a good show. And who knows what happens in year one, but that's the thing is they're not just focused on year one, they're focused on the long game and they're doing it right. And I just know that they're going to succeed because of the people that are involved with it. And it always boils down to who the people are, in my opinion. And it's just neat to see them kind of in that first step right now. And it's got some originality to it. It's got some spark to it. I'm excited for them. And and when he said they're going to have basically a float trip opportunity on the edge of their farm,
right?
I get really excited about that. But then I instantly was like, well, how many people have been on float trips? Is that big? Is that big throughout Arkansas? I mean, Arkansas is the natural state. I realize people are going to go on float trips and they understand that there are rivers and there's beauty outdoors and all that kind of stuff. But if you haven't been on a float trip, just take my advice. Go get on a river this summer. It is so much fun. And if they have something like that as a part of their event, I think that could really be something very unique and special to what their event is, as far as something that you can do on, let's say, Thursday morning to start your day, or even Friday morning. Heck, make it Saturday morning if you do a quick float. But, as you're getting ready for the weekend of the races and all that kind of stuff, it's just so relaxing and fun to be on the river and it just taking you downstream. It's the most peaceful thing. And, bring your Bluetooth speaker and some food and some drinks and have a good time. Sounds like something that I would love to do if I could get down there and do that outside of the work aspect of it.
Yeah, all of these events, these Chuckwagon events have their own identity. They all have their own character. And I think that one right there is something that needs to be, kind of embraced and emphasized a lot, is that, because no one else is going to be able to offer that. And I think just from going to some of the others, but they do the trail rides with something catered at the end of the trail ride or something like that, which is awesome. That's really cool. But having what he's talking about doing next year, possibly even doing a float trip with a catered meal or having them cook meals or something at the end of the float trip or mid float trip or something. How stinking cool would that be?
Better do it at the middle point, because based on some of my experiences on float trips, it takes some people a little bit longer to get downriver.
Right.
And if you're having a good time on a float trip, you find that you make a lot of stops because you don't want it to end. So you'll pull up on riverbanks and you'll just, shoot the shit with people that are around and you'll just stand there and talk and you'll just socialize and have fellowship. And it's honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do in my adult years of doing just fun, leisure, relaxing things, is just a good float trip, getting out there on the water and enjoying just the scenery, and it constantly changes. Like if you're sitting on the lake on like a party cove, or if you're just sitting on a dock or whatever, yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. But a scenic river where you're getting to enjoy kind of like this tour through God's country, and
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything. You just sit there and let the river take you. It's
Right.
I'm gonna shut up about it now, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, get on down to the 11-point showdown. I'm not gonna lie. I was still trying to kind of put it together what the 11-point showdown meant. They have the 11-point river, so that all came together for me toward the end. I wasn't totally getting that until like he mentioned the river, but that's going to be pretty neat. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm not familiar with the bands that they have, but knowing that they have somebody who's really experienced in the entertainment production realm, with Jeff, I think that he's been an integral piece on getting the entertainment lined up, and he's been going back and forth with me today on emails, making sure that they have some access to some promotional content. They don't have race content, so how do you tell the people in your local area, in your community, what you're putting on? And so
Right.
so Jeff asked specifically if he could get some chuckwagon racing content, and I told him, yeah, well, let me give you some clips from some different races that we've been to that can kind of show people what racing is. And he's like, yeah, and we're going to give people credit. Anybody that we're using a clip from their race, we're going to share the love. We're going to tag them in the post and make sure that that it's a community thing. And I don't think that they look at what they're doing as a go beat somebody else down. Like they want your help. They want your advice. They want the community aspect of this to work and grow something over time. So yeah, I think it's a good one. I think, if you're on the fence about going to this one, I highly recommend it. Obviously I haven't been before, but I have a really good feeling about it. So the 11-point showdown, gates open June 11th, but it sounds like the activities will really be going 12, 13, 14, 15, the 14th and 15th being the race days. And go follow them on Facebook at the 11-point showdown, and you'll get an idea of all the social content that they're putting out there to promote it. They've already put out like the schedule of their days and stuff like that. You can go and just be dialed in, have a pulse on what they're doing. And of course, we're going to be promoting it as well as we move toward the middle of June. So stick around for it. Yeah. Anything else you've got, Andy?
No, I mean, it just sounds like a really cool place. I'm excited to see how they do. I hope they hang in there. It's like we've seen some come and some go over the years. Even the short time that I've been involved, we've seen a few of them pop up and then and go away for one reason or another. And I think this sounds like a really cool one. It sounds like it's got potential, and it sounds like it's got some experience behind doing some of this stuff already, that's already got a hand in it. So, I'm optimistic about it. I think, hopefully they will be around for a while. So
yeah. And next year you'll plan better so you can go on a float trip with me.
I did plan. I planned way ahead, and that's what happened.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I got it. It's my fault. So, all right.
It's your fault.
Well, make sure that you subscribe and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com. As I said earlier, we're going to have the Whiskey Ridge races up there just as soon as we can possibly get them up there. We're excited to share all that with you. On the back burner, we're hoping to put some mutton busting on there, and maybe even some of that bullfighting and stuff like that. It's as much as we can do right now, and we're excited to share more content with you. You guys are probably hearing this on Thursday, so have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting what we do. And yeah, we'll see you out on the track. The end. Producer, come back in. Am I frozen? No. You can hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.